Hello, everyone. This is Andres Restart. This time, I'm joined by my friend Sarah from Hey Listen Gaming. It's been a little while. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I was telling you right before we are going live that I just woke up from a nap, but
Yeah.
we got some stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah's Instagram, right? She covers a lot of Nintendo content. You know, you'll see her sharing stuff, a lot of cozy life gaming sorts of things. You can find her on Instagram. It's linked in the description below. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. So Pokemon Legends ZA came out last Thursday, and I've been enjoying the game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you've probably liked the game too.
Yeah, I've been liking it. I've been playing most of today. I
Okay,
actually took off work today just
nice.
as an excuse to play. Yeah.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
it's been
we're
a
gonna.
good time.
Mhm.
I've been enjoying the battle mechanics. It's definitely like feels fresh compared to coming off of Scarlet and Violet. So
Mhm.
it's been fun.
Cool. And have you heard about the opinions online?
I mean, there's opinions about everything, but especially Pokemon. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know. I agree with some of them for sure. Like it'd be great to get a stunning
yeah.
AAA title quality Pokemon game, but
Mhm.
we're all gonna buy it regardless. So they're not gonna give it to us.
We're gonna be talking a little bit more about this tonight, but there's more. So Nintendo actually announced or confirmed the exact date for the Kirby Air Riders Direct. We're going to talk a little bit about this, but I think this also kind of has us wondering. Okay, well, Hyrule Warriors is coming out pretty soon, November 6th. But then also there's a Metroid Prime art book that's coming out in a few days as well next week, and that has us wondering about Nintendo's plan for Metroid Prime 4 as well. So like, is there going to be a Metroid Prime 4 direct? Is there going to be a Hyrule Warriors direct? And if not, what are they going to do instead? So we're going to be talking about what may be next in terms of Nintendo Directs. I personally don't think we're done. I don't think the Kirby Direct is all that's left in terms of direct presentations this year. I don't think we're getting a general, but I do think Nintendo still has a little bit more in store for that little direct show. So that's pretty much what we're kind of talking about tonight. But checking here with the chat, let's see. Michael's Gutman, Michael's Gutman. Is the T silent? I'm going to assume no, but feel free to tell me otherwise. I can see them doing a Hyrule Warriors Direct next week. Maybe. 10,000 Noodles. NL's inspired me to create a Xeno playlist. Not sure which song to start with. Thinking of Lahan from Gears. I should check that one out. Yes, Unreal Mint YouTube. We will be talking about directs tonight. If that's hasn't become painfully clear. Having hope. I hope we see Ruby this evening. Well, she's actually like sleeping right there. I don't really want to mess with the camera. However, I wonder if I can like put a wider view for a moment so you can kind of catch her. Yeah, I have like a very like walk. I have the camera literally like taped to the monitor because the tripod doesn't work. But can I move the camera just so you can see her for a little bit? Oh no. No, you can't. She's too far off. She'll move. She'll stir at some point. She's probably gonna jump on the computer in a moment. But there's a good chance she'll show up. So don't worry. Anyway, Gutman. Got it, Michael's Gutman. I got you. All right, Paper Eric has a question. Do you think they will do a direct for the Mario Galaxy movie trailer? I think that's where we can kind of like just start off like our conversation, Sarah.
Hmm.
What do you think? Do you think there's going to be like a direct for the Mario Galaxy movie anytime soon?
When's that releasing again? Not for a while.
April next year?
I don't know. I don't see anything until after holidays. I feel like they're gonna really want to focus on like pushing games and stuff up until then.
Okay.
Because we already did get that teaser, so I
Sure.
don't see them showing anything before like the new year, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So the Mario Galaxy movie is coming out April 3rd of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just looking back because I remember there were a few Mario movie directs for the first one. Now, just because this is how they handled it last time doesn't mean they're going to handle it the exact same way this time, right? To your point,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things to talk about right now. Back then, there wasn't as much to talk about. So Nintendo had a little bit more freedom and like time to kind of put out more things about the movie and not actually like be worried about maybe overshadowing something else. So I think that's a good point. However, I will also say we had technically 3 Mario movie Nintendo Directs before the Mario movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me screen share this real quick. Let's see here. So yeah, I always like going to the Direct Archive, right? They had one on October 6th. I'm pretty sure this is the very first time we saw anything of the Mario movie, though. They had like a poster, right, or something, but like this is the first time they showed us like a trailer.
Yeah.
And so that was like the big thing. I would say we got basically that equivalent with the teaser and the Direct. And then they didn't have like the last like Mario movie Direct until March, right? So like a month before that last movie came out. But there was one in between, right? You see here, they had one on November 29th. I don't think they're going to have one the exact same time because this would be 5 days before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. This would be like a little bit over a week after Kirby Air Riders comes out. I don't know if that's like the right timing for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, I think it's a tough call. I think either A, we get one like in December after Prime 4 or maybe at the Game Awards, which I think is like December 7th or 8th or something. Maybe we see something there. Or yeah, it would be starting early next year that they would start to really ramp
Yeah.
up
And I
talking
could see
about
them
it.
kind of just throwing it in at the end of directs, like, oh, there's one more thing, kind of closing out directs with more like to see
Yeah,
about the Mario movie. But yeah.
yeah. The only thing that I kind of like think about is because we do have the Galaxy 1 and 2 collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's obviously like a huge that's probably like I love going into like cross promotion theory, right? I feel like that's what helped me get right with the whole 3D Donkey Kong project, right? With Pikmin 4. Like I do think like there are signs, right? It's a big part of the whole Ocarina of Time remake theory. Um
Oh yeah.
so like, with Galaxy 1 and 2, right? The reason why we thought there would be a Galaxy 2 announced was because of the Mario movie and
Mm-hmm.
us knowing about Yoshi. As it turns out, not only is Yoshi involved, and there is a Galaxy 2 remaster, but there is also like they're just doing a Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
So I think that actually strengthens the idea of even more so the cross promotion theory, but also if they do talk about the movie again before the holidays, it's like another like reminder. Oh, Galaxy 1 and 2 are available now, right?
No, that's true. Yeah.
And so they might do something with the movie just to kind of fuel a little bit more fire there to get people to buy the game going into Christmas. Sarah, I don't know if I lost you or if you evolved into a circle, but you look like a circle. I'll give her a moment. But checking with the chat. Let's see here. That's a good one. We'll check that in a moment. One second. Okay. All right, I'm checking with the chat here. Let's see. Having hope. I'm guessing January for the next Mario Galaxy movie trailer, and then February for their normal general direct. Right. If they decide to not do anything, I'm going to say December. I feel like we're not getting anything Mario movie related until at least December, then definitely January. And I do feel good about us getting a February direct. I think that's seems likely. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's close this out for a little bit. It's just me for now. Okay. Let's see. Connor asks me, what are your predictions for story mode with this Dark Matter, DDD Swordsman, and the Kirby characters? You guys really want the Kirby Air Rider roster, and why? So, I don't have that much opinion on this question. I do agree with you though that this Dark King DDD sort of thing is very likely tied into a story mode of some kind. I do think that, like, if we're gonna get a 60-minute Nintendo Direct about just Kirby Air Riders after they already did a 45-minute Direct on Kirby Air Riders, I think they need to have something substantial to show off, something more substantial than what they've already shown off. Now, I do think a big part of this is just showing off more content, more characters, more stages. I think it's going to probably be like over 20 stages, in my opinion. So now how much of that is tied to DLC, I'm unsure, but yeah, I think definitely there's going to be that. And I think a story mode, and I think that Dark DDD is probably also going to be there. You made it back.
I'm so sorry. I had like
Totally
a weird
fine.
power blip. It's
Oh,
been
okay.
really windy. It's been really windy here the past few days,
Mhm.
and I just moved, so I'm like not used to how stuff works here. But apparently, my
Sure.
apartment can't handle the wind very well. So hopefully, it doesn't happen again.
It's okay. You can just
Okay.
jump back in. Not really a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, before you blipped out, I was just saying that, they might use the movie to kind of push more Galaxy 1 and 2 sales going into Christmas.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, the damage is already done, and I mean that in a positive way. Like, we already know about the movie, right? The games are there. Like, the games are going to sell regardless, but because of the movie more so.
Yeah.
I can see. I feel like there's a good chance we're going to see another mention before the end of the year, but I do think it's probably after all the games come out.
The
Yeah,
movie's a great way to introduce other characters like Rosalina and stuff like that
yeah.
to people who aren't. I mean, everyone's familiar with Mario, but people who aren't as familiar with like all the side characters and stuff in the game. So
That'd actually be a cool idea if like they do like a Rosalina like reveal. Like maybe that's their big thing, because we've already seen Peach and Mario and Luigi, and
yeah.
I mean Yoshi's also probably going to be a big one.
Oh yeah.
Like we've actually seen leaks. What's funny, I didn't believe these leaks, or I don't know what I believed, but like when we were kind of in that lead up to the Switch 2 coming out in the beginning of the summer, I remember like, because I was doing a lot, because there's so much news, I was doing a lot of like just like general news videos, like covering like several topics at a time. And there was one day where there was a story going around. It was one of like many stories, so it kind of just got lost, right? But there was this one story of like Old Spice like deodorant that was themed after a Mario Galaxy movie, and I was like, okay, this is probably baloney, but here it is, right? And we completely forgot about it. And then, when we got the confirmation of the movie, we were like, oh my God, that was actually a real leak. And so it had our first look at Yoshi, and Mario and Luigi were already there, but like there was like a literally like a Yoshi, like I wonder if I can pull it up. Like if I Google it real quick. Yoshi Old Spice
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Old Spice thing.
Mario movie. I think I'm trying to see if I can find a photo of it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, check this out. All right. So here it is. That's our first look at Yoshi.
That's bizarre. I'm trying to see what the scents are. Desert Detour, Brooklyn Bounce.
Yeah.
Gross. That doesn't sound good.
Like you're just enjoying those Brooklyn summers of the heat. So yeah, you want to contain
disgusting.
Yeah.
If you want to keep women away, I guess.
Hey, but I got that Yoshi deodorant.
Yeah,
there you go.
True.
But like we do get to see like how Yoshi looks. Like, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's kind of like that Yoshi look. And they also have the little sombrero dude from Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna actually do like voice acting for Yoshi, or if he's just gonna be making like Yoshi noises. I'm assuming the latter, but I don't know.
I think he's gonna say Yoshi.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I don't
just
know. So like I'm not sure. Like obviously he's an important. The thing is he's an important character, but like we've seen like Pixar movies where there's like an important like animal sidekick or something that just makes it's really expressive and funny, but just makes animal noises, right? So
and they
like
can do a lot
Yoshi,
with their backstory and stuff like that, with like flashbacks and stuff like that to show
they could
personality, that kind of thing. But
that's a good point. Like they could have a flashback, like maybe Yoshi's looking for his lost Yoshi mother or something, or maybe he got bullied by the other Yoshis on Yoshi Island, because we do see like a Yoshi Island in the movie, but they're just random Yoshis, so that they're not important. I don't know. But what I will say is that like, yeah, I do think that Yoshi's definitely gonna get like is gonna have his moment, you know, in the lead up to the movie. And I'm kind of assuming Rosalina's gonna have her moment as well. I'm curious who's the voice actress is gonna be for her. I don't know
yeah,
who
I
they
can't
would
even
pick.
think of who I would. I feel like they did such a good job with Peach, so I don't even know. I can't even think of who they might be able to use for Rosalina.
Yeah, I mean, so with Peach, what's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy. Did I get it
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I
Yeah,
think so.
something like that. I mean, she's cool. Like I first saw her in the Queen. Is it Queen's Gambit?
Queen's Gambit. Yeah.
That was so good. So like I was already like in love with her as an actress, right? So when I heard that she was gonna play Peach, I was like, oh, that's good. But yeah, like Peach is not like because Rosalina kind of has like more of like a mature vibe,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
Yeah.
So and I guess they would have to go for that, but also like this version of Peach isn't like she's not like an immature character either. So I guess I'm just kind of thinking about like who could they. I mean, maybe they just pick like someone who's like, you know, an older woman. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I feel like they're probably just going to go with somebody that's more popular at the moment. So with Chris Pratt, like
Yeah,
that kind of cast choice. So maybe
they
like a
used to.
Zendaya or something like that.
Zendaya, I feel like
Cool.
would be going the opposite direction, but
No, I agree. I
yeah,
agree. But
I don't know. Like I'm, you know what? I'm not even good at this. You guys in the chat, you guys guess, but yeah, I definitely think we're gonna get some Mario movie stuff. The question is it gonna be December? Is it gonna be January? But I think we're both on the same page. Probably not until after all the games come out. Yeah. That said, let's see here. Try and pull up the chat. Okay, because I had several ads, so I'm just kind of going through them. I'm not like, yeah, I don't. This is fine. Like, I don't feel like we need to have like dedicated topics. Just kind of see where the conversation takes us.
okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. $10,000 Noodles asking for future streams. Is there a way for you to set channel names back to display instead of handles YouTube is showing right now? Channel names instead of handles. I don't even know what you mean. Are you talking about like it showing our
display name.
names?
We pick those ourselves. I typed that all by myself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't. So I'm confused. You search these names, you will find us, right? So yeah, unless you mean something else, but feel free to elaborate. But let's talk about Hyrule Warriors.
Okay.
Because what do you think? What do you think's happening with this game? Are you even excited about this game?
I'm not gonna lie, there's been so much coming out that I've not been paying a lot of attention to Hyrule Warriors.
Sure.
So there's been so much other stuff coming out and other stuff I've been more focused on. But I mean, I have been watching some stuff here and there, like some speculation videos and stuff on YouTube. That's kind of what I listen to when I'm working.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm definitely going to play it, but I haven't looked a lot into it.
Yeah. So for me, when we got Tears of the Kingdom in 2023, I was like, all right, we could get another Warriors game. Like I
Mhm.
definitely like felt that way in 2023.
Yeah.
But then once they're like, all right, Switch 2's coming out, it's 2025, and they announced Hyrule Warriors, I was like, really? Really? I
I
gave up on this.
yeah.
I'm done with this. I don't need this anymore. I'm ready to move on to like the next
Mhm.
Zelda era.
No, I
So I
definitely get
actually,
that.
yeah, I wasn't like I was good. I didn't need it. So I wasn't even like necessarily like that excited for it.
Mhm.
But as we've kind of gone a little bit more, um, I've my hype has increased. Like I'm excited to kind of well, I think one of the big things I'm excited about is just getting to explore these characters of the past, specifically the Gerudo, from
Mhm.
like a theory lore perspective, right? Because we know in Tears of the Kingdom that the two witches, well, okay, the two witches from Ocarina of Time, right?
Mhm.
Kotaka and Koame, right? You remember those
Yes.
old ladies, right?
Yeah.
They are also in the flashbacks in Tears of the Kingdom.
Mhm.
They're young Gerudos that are on Ganondorf's left and right. They don't say anything. You just see them kneeling there. Um, and so what's interesting is that we know we're going to see this whole story of Ganondorf and the Gerudo and how he was leading them, and then they kind of, they separate. They're going to separate at some point, right? So we're going to see that story. We're going to see how he interacts with them. And then we have this Gerudo sage. I forget her name. They just recently announced it. But she's like the leader of the Gerudo. So we're going to see that relationship. And I feel like we're going to probably get like some voice lines of Kotaka and Koame in their prime, which I
Mhm.
find interesting because
No,
I'm
that'll
kind
be
of just
really cool.
assuming that these are literally not reincarnations. They are literally the exact same witches, just when they were way younger.
Yeah.
Um, because supposedly this is like I mean, they literally tell us. I know a lot of people online like to like argue otherwise, but like what Nintendo's told us is that this is the founding of Hyrule, right?
Yeah.
So it's before Ocarina of Time. So presumably these events eventually lead to Ocarina of Time. And then eventually, many, many, many years later, it's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really into like learning more about this stuff.
No, I
And
think they are
then
gonna do a lot with the story. That's
mhm,
probably what I'm most interested in. As far as, like, gameplay for Hyrule's Warriors, I could kinda take it or leave it. Like,
yeah,
it's fun, but it is very repetitive, so it's not something I can sit and play, like, for
yeah,
hours and hours on end, but I am excited to see what they're gonna do with the story as far as, like you said, diving into these characters we haven't gotten much information on, and then the whole, like, speculation of if Fi is gonna be involved at all.
right,
And the story would be
yeah,
awesome. I love Skyward Sword. I know a lot
yeah.
of people hate on it. I absolutely love Skyward Sword. It's one of my favorites. So
I love Skyward Sword too. I don't know where I rank them, but I have a hard time ranking the Zelda
no, I do
games.
too. Yeah, I
But
do
I
too.
mean, it's a game that I will go back to every few years.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, same.
so good. One of the best stories. But what do you think is the who do you think's the thing, the Link looking construct?
I've seen a bunch of different stuff and I honestly don't even know what to believe. Like some people are saying it's Link but from the future and like just
Okay,
he's embodying it almost like somehow they get his
that feels like the
essence,
most
his soul.
obvious.
It
Right.
looks like him. I'd like it to be
Yeah.
Fi, but I don't think it is. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. 'Cause the more people, like, talk about it and explain it, I'm like, I feel like you're just I
Yeah.
don't know.
So, my thing is like I want to just confirmation bias all of this to be like, oh, this is all signs for the Ocarina of Time remake, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what I want to do for it. And I mean, as I just talked to you about with the witches, like I think that is like good setup. We're getting the Raru stuff, more sage stuff. So I do feel like there's maybe like some subtle stuff. Um, but I don't think that I think it's probably not Hero of Time Link. Like that
Mhm.
seems kind of super random for the context of this game. Um, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild Link, right? It's that's a
Yeah.
lot kind of a theory. Like that's I think there's a really good chance that's all it is. And if it is that, without any more evidence, I'm kind of thinking it's kind of an ass pull because there's nothing in Breath or Tears that suggests that Link would just had any like there was no moment where like, oh yeah, Link, you know,
Like when
tell
he'd look at
his
like
soul to
yeah.
pass. Like there's none of
Mhm.
that. So I'm not sure how exactly that would work.
Unless they do something with like almost like the Dragon Tears quest where he's like he's seeing these moments in the past. Maybe he's like partially they're gonna say that he's like partially present in those moments. He's partially there. I don't know how they're gonna do it,
that
but
actually that might kind of work. Like maybe he's
almost
only
like a
available for a certain.
portal.
Yeah,
Like
so
not
it's like,
his
well,
body, but like his soul, I guess, is present in those moments, but he's not physically present in them. That's the only thing I could think about that they would be able to do with that.
that's an interesting idea, actually. So, because I'm trying to remember in Tears of the Kingdom, like what happens is the light dragon Zelda,
Mhm.
right, leaves tears throughout the map. And when you collect these tears, you see the flashbacks. Is that how it
Mhm.
worked?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what happened,
And
right?
there's like pools,
Okay,
like the
yeah, okay.
tears would pull up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. So there actually are pools, all right, because there were like these giant like hieroglyphs, and then you have to kind of like find the little
You
pool.
define the pool, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. So to me, like that just makes me think that she's just leaving a memory. That's not me thinking, oh, that's like a channel to the like
Interdimensional
that
portal.
goes both ways. Like I don't.
Yeah.
So I mean, you might be right that this is exactly what it is, right?
Mhm.
But it's still to me, it's gonna feel like kind of an ass pull.
Oh,
Which,
yeah, for
by the
sure,
way,
yeah.
that's literally exactly what they did in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Like they brought in the sage, like the champions. Like there was nothing within the story of Breath of the Wild at all that suggests there was any sort of time travel like that. But they were like, hey, they showed up somehow, right? So like, I think yeah, that may end up being what it is. Link just shows up somehow, and that's all it
Mhm.
is. So I I think a lot of people are putting stock into the fact that they're kind of like treating this as a canon story, but what I think people are forgetting is that they had that same energy about Age of Calamity. They're like, oh yeah, the
Mhm.
Zelda team worked on this with Koei Tecmo. Like we were very hands on with this, and then they
Weren't they
made the
very
story.
upfront with, Age of Calamity? They were very much like, "This is not canon."
Did
Didn't they
they?
say that all? I
Maybe
don't
I'm wrong.
remember, but I
I
feel like they were kind of adamant about it not being canon, but I could be wrong.
Let's
I
Google it.
might be thinking of something else. I know all the other ones are not canon.
No, yeah, like a lot of people like to theorize about Hyrule Warriors, just the original one, and it's like, oh yeah, there's
Mhm.
all these the whole multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Age of Calamity, canon or not? What does Google say? Okay, well, according to the AI overview, no, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is not considered part of the mainline Zelda timeline, but it exists in a separate. I mean, that we know that part we know. While the game was developed with the Breath of the Wild story team, the ending were featured. That doesn't say anything. I don't know. I just remember personally that they did talk about how the team was involved.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so I remember kind of going into Age of Calamity thinking, okay, like this is going to be deeply connected, and then
Mhm.
it ends up just being a totally separate. Like it
Yeah.
is technically like it all can literally exist, but it's just they get away with it by it being a totally separate timeline. Like people were expecting that Age of Calamity would have a very very sad ending because we kind of saw the story in Breath of the Wild. That's not what they did. Uh,
Mhm.
I I do think that I feel like with Age of Imprisonment, it's not gonna. I'm assuming it's not gonna end well. It can't. Well, I mean, I guess it can because they do seal Ganon temporarily. So I don't know. Yeah, I maybe it's gonna be just it's just gonna be what it is. The only, I guess, surprise is, honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, so
I
we'll
could see
find out.
more, but I feel like they're gonna go more happy ending route, like they did with Age of Calamity, because that's what the people want. But
Yeah, nah, I want to sad. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, okay, if the game ends and Sonya's alive, I'm gonna be pissed.
why? What do you have against Sonya?
Nothing. I think she was great, but she had an untimely demise, and I think that should be honored.
I disagree, but no, I'm just kidding. I
Nah,
don't have
it's
strong
fine.
feelings about it.
Me neither. Like, we'll see what happens. But to the point of like them covering this game, though, right? It feels like they've actually been pretty quiet,
Yeah.
recently, and the game's very close to coming out. So I'm kind of assuming that they're gonna really pick things up really soon. So the question is, are they going to have like a Hyrule Warriors Nintendo Direct? Is it just going to be like a trailer, or are we just going to hear about like previews from journalists? Like, what do you think is next in terms of us getting like new info on this game?
If we do get like an actual direct before the game comes out, I could see them throwing it in there. But if not, it could just be where they throw like extra trailers in on YouTube. Like they have in the past with other games where we don't necessarily get a direct, but we get more information like kind of sprinkled over time on YouTube.
Yeah,
Um,
I do think Nintendo tweeted something today about the game. I feel like some people were speculating that we just heard like a new voice line from Zelda.
mhm.
Um, I don't remember. I don't really think it changes anything. It was just kind of like her, like, oh, is that Hyrule Castle? This must be the past. So it's nothing too groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's this. Here. Let me put it up real quick. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me know if you can hear this.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's Hyrule Castle? Then that must mean this really is the past.
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy
Mhm.
there. But I will say, kind of going back to our prior conversation, just like them saying that the story leading into Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, if the story ends with Sonya being alive, you know, that's not quite what happened. Um,
But if they have time travel and they can go back and prevent her untimely death, then it's okay. Link's also there somehow.
yeah, we'll see what they do. Whatever it is, I'll probably think it's fun, so it's not going to be a big
Mhm.
deal. Yeah, I'm not that picky about it. Um, yeah, but in terms of like what I think they're going to do, I do not think they're going to do a direct for this game. It doesn't strike me as the kind of game that would have a direct. In part because this is a partner game, right? This is not a Nintendo game, right? This is not. I mean, first of all, like it's not Kirby Air Riders. Well, I guess that's being made by Sakurai, which is technically also a partner game, but it's different because it's Sakurai, right? Like
Mhm.
it's very at home, close to Nintendo. Metroid Prime 4 is a 100% a Nintendo game made by a Nintendo studio. Like a lot of people like say, "Oh, Retro Studios is not Nintendo." Like no, Retro Studios is literally a Nintendo 100% studio, and you have people from Japan also, definitely overseeing everything, like with Tanabe-san. So that's a game I think most likely will still get a direct. But I do kind of want I do wonder if like maybe they're gonna like sneak in possibly a partner showcase, which might feel like a little bit like overkill right now with so much going on. But there is still like several like third party announcements that haven't happened yet. Like so, for example, Elden Ring, technically, according to Nintendo's website, slated for 2025. We don't have a
Okay.
release date.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that? There's the now widely reported Assassin's Creed Shadows coming to Switch 2, supposedly coming out, if I'm not mistaken, like early December. So if that's
I didn't even realize we
true,
were getting that one.
it's not 100% confirmed, but it's like everything but confirmed. Like
Yeah.
Bilbo Kun is reporting on it, and when Bilbo Kun reports on it, it's because like it's like it within like there are already some internal sites that have it listed. So
Yeah.
it's very likely that it's 100% happening. And so assuming that is absolutely true, they're gonna have to announce that soon. And so there's kind of like a few things like that where we're like, oh, okay, there are still some big third-party games that we need announcements for, and we do still need like at least we need something more for Hyrule Warriors, which we've seen in partner showcases. So like, do we see like a surprise partner showcase next week?
I could see it happening. Like you said, there is a lot that needs either more information or we have essentially zero information on. Which
Yeah.
I get it, like Elden Ring's been out on other platforms, so maybe they don't
just
think
need to give
they
us a
need to.
release date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what they did with Final Fantasy in September. They're like, hey, it's coming in January. See you then.
Yeah.
It was very quick. The only thing is that Elden Ring, I don't know. Is this if it's gonna make it out this year? Would it be coming out in December at this point? Like we're already more than halfway through October, so I think there's a good chance that game is getting delayed.
It's November next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to say with that one, especially because like people have played Elden Ring at different events recently, and there's been a lot of reports that the game is not running well. However, as the weeks have pressed on, we've gotten more updated builds of the game, and the game is running better. Like at PAX of Australia, like last week or something, people were saying, "Oh yeah, the game is running a lot better than what it was at prior events, like a month beforehand." So I mean, maybe they are close. My thing is simply they haven't given us a release date yet. So if it's coming out this year, it's becoming increasingly harder to believe, unless maybe December. Like supposedly Assassin's Creed Shadows is also coming out December, and that hasn't been announced officially yet either. So
Yeah.
it's certainly possible.
They could just be holding off until they get all the kinks and stuff out of the way, so they don't have to like announce that they're delaying it.
Right. And they also might be waiting because they're saving the announcement for a partner showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Like because these third-party companies they do like strike deals with Nintendo, like, hey, so your game's going to be in a Nintendo Direct, right? So because that brings a lot of eyes, right? Like so a lot of companies will make the decision to not make the announcement on their own because they do want whatever it is they have announced to be show up there, right? Because that's like a big marketing thing. So it's possible, like, otherwise they would have given us a release date yet, but because they're waiting for kind of like that spotlight moment at a partner showcase, that hasn't happened.
And
that
it could
said,
be a contractual thing with Nintendo, like, hey, you can't announce it until we announce it, kind of deal.
Yeah, it could go both ways.
Like basically, third party, they can't announce it until Nintendo's announcing it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. So sometimes we hear about like certain games, or we hear like certain journalists hyping stuff up. Like for example, Chris String comes to mind, and he's kind of like, I remember him talking about how, because you remember like we were getting really excited for a Nintendo Direct that was going to happen in like August, if I'm not mistaken, and we got the partner showcase, and people were like really disappointed because it was just a partner showcase. But there were journalists hyping it up because they were saying, "Oh yeah, there's gonna be some big stuff showing up here, right?" And then the partner showcase came, and they're like, "Oh, the things were told that would show up, only some of them did." And so it's not that they were lying; it's that I think part of it kind of comes down to how these agreements come together, and sometimes, like from the Nintendo side of things, they're like, "Hey, yeah, we'll have your game in a Nintendo Direct," but not everyone knows which Nintendo Direct, because there can be
slot they're being put into. Yeah,
right. So maybe like they had 3 slots for the second half of the year: the partner in August, a Direct in September, and maybe another partner in like November, right? Or maybe next week. So that's possible. I'm not convinced there's a partner showcase, to be clear. we're kind of just like spitballing possibilities here.
I think that would make the most
Yeah.
sense to me. End of October, partner showcase. November, a regular direct, like leading up to holidays.
Okay.
That's just what
Uh,
I think makes the most sense. I'm not saying I think
yeah.
it's going to happen, but
Yeah. So for me, the most important thing is what are they doing with Metroid? So I believe there's going to be a Metroid Prime 4 Nintendo Direct. And usually, like the game-specific Nintendo Directs, they happen at the latest about a month before that game comes out. Sometimes it can be like 6 weeks, 7 weeks beforehand. But once we're about 4 weeks away, that's kind of like usually the deadline for a game-specific Direct. Now, I'll kind of open it up to maybe 3 weeks this time around just because there's so much going on. But assuming Nintendo kind of maintains that pattern, that would mean we should be getting a Metroid Prime 4 Direct next week. And we are getting the art book for Metroid Prime next week on October 28th. And Nintendo actually was teasing that. I don't know if you saw. They released like a sample, like a 35-page sample of the Metroid Prime 1 through 3 art book. How big are you on Metroid, by the way?
not
We've
very
never, I don't
big.
think we were talking about it. So.
I have an OLED that came out when Dread came out. That's
Okay.
about it. That's about it.
Okay.
I play as Samus sometimes in Super Smash.
There you go. Very good. Maybe are you thinking about Prime 4 or no?
Maybe. I mean, it looks
Maybe.
good from what they've shown so far. I'm not opposed to it.
I actually think this is good. I'm glad that you're not that much of a fan because you provide like a perspective of like the more general Nintendo fan, like what are your feelings on this game, right? Because for me, this is basically the next Zelda game. Like in terms of like hype and like quality, this is it, right? You can see the art book. I'm kind of just like scrolling through. They shared like 50% of the sample.
I'm not like
here.
big like sci-fi.
Yeah.
I'm not really big into like sci-fi stuff, so I'm definitely not the target audience. But from what I've seen, it does look fun. Like I don't know if I'd go out of my way to purchase it, but I definitely watch other people play it, or if somebody had it, I'd try it out.
What did you think of the bike?
It reminded me of Akira's bike.
There you go. Yeah,
that's about it.
Okay, because I feel like
great though.
Yeah, when Nintendo showed off the bike, a lot of people who weren't really thinking about the game were like, "Oh, that looks kind of cool."
No, I mean the bike is a cool element for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, like I think Nintendo still needs to they haven't really gone into the marketing for this game yet.
No, not at all. Like I feel like what we've mainly just seen like the most recent stuff that they've shown is like
not even 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we've seen though. Other than that, it was mainly just the title.
Yeah.
Right?
They've been very well, so we had we got a little bit more than that. So last year they gave us that first trailer, right?
Yeah,
it was very brief. And then this year, right before the Switch 2 Direct in April, in the March Direct, they actually showed off like the area right after the beginning, that forest, and that's where they revealed the psychic powers. And then a week later in the Switch 2 Direct, they showed off like 15 seconds of like the Switch 2 version.
That's what it's coming to my head when I'm thinking of is that Direct specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, and then we did have a Treehouse event where people got to play the beginning that we already had a trailer of from a year ago, and we got to see the Switch 2 version, and it looked better. But from that, we had only seen like basically like the first 2 levels of the game, if you could even call it that. Like you could probably get you can beat that first area that's like where Samus lands in like 5 to 10 minutes. No, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, right? Depending on your skill level, how many times you've played it. It's a very quick thing. It's like it's kind of like the equivalent to like the walking dungeon thing in Tears of the Kingdom when Link and Zelda walk through, you kind of walk through there. So it just meant to kind of get you acquainted to the controls, set up the story, right? It's just the inciting incident, right? And so that's pretty much all they've shown up until the recent September Direct, right? And that's where they were like, oh, here's a we have vast open areas to explore, right? And then there's a lava region, there's a snow region, right? There's a thunderstorm region. So they kind of showed off a lot in a very small span.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking on this is that they're treating it very similar. I've said this like a million times, but like they're treating it very similar to how they treated Tears of the Kingdom and Donkey Kong. So I feel like you would remember with Tears of the Kingdom, they were really quiet about the game, like
Yeah.
until we were like maybe like 5-6 weeks away. We're like, oh my god, like they're not saying anything, and people were thinking that Nintendo was like completely ruining the game's chances to succeed. Like I remember there were people commenting in my video saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got a degree in marketing, and let me tell you, Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing." Right, and then Nintendo's like, "Hey, here's the Tears of the Kingdom presentation. Here's the final trailer. Oh,
Yeah.
here are the previews. Here are the reviews. Oh my god, we sold 20 million copies in like 2 months." Right, so
Well, the thing with that, they didn't even need to have a marketing strategy. Content creators were doing all of their marketing for them, like from the time Breath of the Wild ended. People were like, when's Breath of the Wild 2 going to come out? And we're all just talking about it for literal years. So they didn't really have to have a strategy. In all reality, they really didn't.
I feel that it's similar to Metroid. Now it's on a smaller scale. A lot of people joke that I'm Nintendo's Metroid Prime 4 marketing team, that I've basically been carrying the Prime 4 marketing on my back.
When I think of Metroid, I think of you, if that makes you feel good about it.
Yes and no. Yes, but also if I'm all there is to market Metroid, we're in trouble. So unless I explode, which I would love. Metaphorically, not literally.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna give it a huge push really, really soon. Like they talked about in the September Direct, the journey to launch begins, and they outlined how we have the art book coming out next week, and then the amiibos. So they clearly have a plan. And I was actually excited when they announced the Kirby Direct this week. Not because of Kirby, even though I am excited about it. I am going to watch that Direct, and I'm picking up the game for sure. But I had actually talked about during the weekend that there probably would be a Kirby Direct this week, because they need to leave next week open for something else.
Yeah.
Which I think could be Metroid, because we have the art book coming out. I think that's a prime opportunity, pun intended there, to maybe even shadow drop Prime 2 and 3. Like if you're going to do it, next week is the time to do it. Nintendo oftentimes has like Halloween games coming out. Prime 2 and 3 on the eShop would be like a really good fit. If it's not, then it's not happening, in my opinion. So I'm not even sure if the Direct happens next week, but it's just kind of like timing wise, that's what would fit. It's a great window. I'm open to it just being kind of like the beginning. Like maybe they're like, hey, so here's the art book. We're going to have like a Switch 2 upgrade for Prime 1 for free because it's already available. And then they announce 2 and 3. Like if they do that and then say there's going to be a Prime 4 Direct later, and then after Hyrule Warriors comes out in the first week of November, then they give us a Prime 4 Direct, and then after that it's the previews and stuff. Like I think that would be fine. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but I do think there's, like, if I have to pick between, is there going to be a Metroid Prime 4 Direct or a partner showcase next week? I'm thinking, no, for sure, there's going to be a Prime 4 Direct. Now, could there be both? Like, could they have a partner showcase on a Tuesday and a Prime 4 Direct on a Thursday? I think they honestly could do that.
Yeah,
I don't think they would hurt each other. What I don't think they'll do is have a Metroid Prime 4 Direct in the same week as Hyrule Warriors coming out. That to me seems odd. I don't think they would do that.
That's too much. Too much going on.
Yeah, because it's not even just like the game coming out. It's also like the reviews that come out a day or two beforehand, right? So like, when do you realistically have time to? You would have to have overlap. I don't think that's a good idea. The other thing to consider though is that the Metroid amiibo are coming out the same day as Hyrule Warriors though, which is kind of odd. But it's also just amiibo, right? So like, I don't think the amiibo is like, oh, this is when they're gonna have the Direct. But I think it's all related.
I feel like they should say something soon though, because I feel like Prime 4 is a very good opportunity for them to bring like a different audience to the system. Because again, I'm not for Prime 4, I'm not their target audience. I'm
No.
playing Nintendo for nostalgia purposes. I'm playing it because I like Zelda, because I like Animal Crossing, because I like Mario. That's what I like to play. But there is that huge audience of people that are on Xbox, that are on PlayStation, that are on the PC, that are into the sci-fi stuff that they could kind of bring over and influence them to get a Switch too. And I feel like they're just kind of hitting the mark, or not hitting the mark on that right now, because they do have the opportunity to bring people to the franchise, because I don't know very much at all about Metroid. And I know a lot of people, like, it's just not, it's kind of more of like a,
It's not mainstream.
yeah,
It's
like
not.
a more niche
Yeah,
audience.
It's
But
in the it always hurts me to like when that is said, but I mean, it's all relative, right? Like, I think people kind of like to poo-poo on. I mean, people like to like just talk smack, right? But like Metroid's, from a sales perspective, is at a Fire Emblem Xenoblade level, which is fine. The games sell 2 to 3 million copies. That's fine. Like, I think some people think that's like bad because you see Mario and Zelda sell like 20, 30 million copies, but it's most companies would kill to be able to sell 2 to 3 million copies, right? So that's fine. Now, in the case of Metroid Prime 4, it would not be fine. Metroid Prime 4 has been one of Nintendo's most expensive projects ever. This is a game that we've heard needs to sell like at least 5 million copies just to break even, apparently.
yeah,
Which is very unlike most Nintendo projects. So that's more reason to think, hey, they got to have a big marketing plan here to really push this game, right? Like, if this is as big of a game as they've put the money into for it to be, like, they got to push it.
when did they originally announce it? I can't remember. It was a while ago.
A long time ago, when I was just a wee lad, in 2017, in June,
I knew
they
it was
announced
a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's the
when
thing.
they
I
announced
feel like
it.
with
Yeah.
a lot of games, like, there are other games, even like by third-party people, they'll announce games, and then years later, we still don't have a release date. I really start to care less about those games, if I'm being honest, because the people that in 2017, the people that were excited about Metroid Prime 4, they might not even be playing games anymore, like, realistically. Like, there's one for the Switch. Well, I think it's probably Switch PC. It's more like cozy gaming vibes, but it's called Witchbrook. That got announced like years ago, and it's kind of like a Stardew Valley, but like witchy academia type vibes. It looks really fun, and they keep giving us like a little bit of information, but they announced it years ago. I don't even care about it anymore. I don't even care to play it anymore at all. So I feel like that's something that a lot of the developers in general are doing, is that they announce these games, and then we have to wait 5 or 6 years, and it's like, by the time it releases, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I actually have friends that have pre-ordered Metroid Prime 4 and have canceled those pre-orders.
Really?
Because of how long. Now, this is not like, I'm not talking about recently, right? Because they basically re-announced Metroid Prime 4 last year. I'm talking about between the years of 2017 and 2024.
Yeah.
Pre-orders have been made by people and then canceled because they just don't think they just didn't think it was happening because of so many years that we had to wait. I don't think that's the case now, but I mean, yeah. I think that actually ties into why they've been so quiet about the game, because we did wait a very long time. I mean, it actually goes right back to we were just kind of talking about Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that game also took way too long. They announced it in 2019, didn't come out till 2023. We thought it would be actually a quicker turnaround because it was using the same art style. It was a sequel. We were like, oh, this is like a Majora's Mask situation.
Oh yeah,
it was an anti-Majora's Mask situation.
Yeah.
It was one of the longest waits we ever had for a Zelda game. And so what did Nintendo do? They got really quiet about the game. They didn't say squat, right? Until they were getting closer. And then they started to drip feed information, which drove us crazy. It drove us crazy, but it fueled the conversations online because we were being driven crazy, right? Which was kind of like
people were grasping at anything they could. Like, people were reanalyzing the same like 30-second video clip over and over and over again.
30 seconds is 2 years of content. Yeah. No.
Everyone made it last that long, which is, but the thing is it that kind of content did well. Like people were interested in that topic. Like that's what I listen to when I'm at work and I have my headphones in. That's what I'm listening to, is people speculating, people kind of coming up with theories or dissecting like clips that they see and stuff like that. So I mean, I think there's still people are still into that, but definitely during that time period when we were waiting for anything about Tears of the Kingdom, like that was kind of the move.
Yeah. And so, I look at Metroid Prime 4 and I think it's just a very similar situation, maybe on a smaller scale, because Zelda's huge.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a huge AAA Metroid game since 2007.
Yeah.
So, once upon a time, Zelda was not the 20-30 million seller it is now, right? It was still bigger than what Metroid is now, but it was
used to be slightly more
fraction.
niche for sure.
Yeah. And so, right now people are like, oh, there's no way Metroid could sell over 5 million copies or over 10 million copies, but we haven't gotten a AAA Metroid during this era yet. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I do think though that with Metroid, there's a big challenge of like having those evergreen sales, because to your point, right? Like you're not the audience of Metroid, right? And you're the group you fall in is kind of like the group of people that helps games like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Animal Crossing get to 15, 20, 30 million copies, right? Metroid isn't that. That's challenging. However, we also look at games like Hollow Knight, right? We look at Elden Ring, these very difficult, dark games, which are very much more along the lines of Metroid. And those games have managed to sell 15, 20 million copies. Now, those are multi-platform. So obviously they have a huge advantage by being multi-platform, right? But there is still a world where a game like Metroid can sell big numbers, but not to the same extent.
But I feel like Dread helped a little bit, because I think there were more people getting like kind of into the franchise because of Dread.
Sure.
Like I know a lot of people that was like the first Metroid game they'd played. So hopefully that kind of
helps a little bit.
Got it a little attention, yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, I mean, to that point, right, a lot of it is just about kind of like having consistency, right? So there are different games that people kind of get into, right? So you had Metroid Dread, we had Prime Remastered, which Nintendo kind of just shoved out there to die, which is weird. But like we're hearing about how Nintendo wants to bring the entire Metroid Prime. This is a rumor, but it's coming from Nash, who's gotten a lot of things right, that he's heard that they want to bring every Metroid Prime game, and so that might be a good idea. And maybe they'll kind of like space that out, right? And then supposedly they are working on the next Metroid Dread, right? Metroid 6, so that can come out soon after Metroid Prime 4, and then supposedly they want to like also jump right into Metroid Prime 5, which, by the way, Metroid Prime 4 is really expensive, but one of the ways they can kind of help to alleviate that cost is by using that tech to immediately also make Metroid Prime 5. And also another interesting point, you brought it up actually, because Metroid does kind of bring in another audience. There's a value there in of itself. It's not even just the game sales, it's also the console sales. Like Metroid Prime 4 is going to have certain people buy a Nintendo console that wouldn't otherwise buy one.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a really big point. And we also think about how Switch 2 kind of has like a lot more big third parties now. Like we're getting Cyberpunk, we're getting Final Fantasy, we're getting Elden Ring, we have Star Wars Outlaws, supposedly Red Dead Redemption's coming, like just kind of like different things like this, like that more mature hardcore audience that usually doesn't pick up like Nintendo consoles. Metroid Prime 4 is more along those lines. So if Nintendo puts out kind of like that big game that's more like that, there's value there that you may not necessarily realize by just looking at Prime 4's consoles software sales. So yeah, that all matters for sure. All getting back to the point of Nintendo needs to have a huge kind of like blowout with this game.
They really need to push it for sure, because they're running out of time to do so. I think
the clock is ticking. But I think it's one of those things where, once we think it's too late, that's when they're going to do it. Once we're like, oh, it's too late, it's over, that's when they're going to do it. So, have a Pokemon fan has become a member welcome. Glad to have you as a member Pokemon fan. Appreciate you. So, all right. I think we've kind of covered like the wave of direct stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this Pokemon game that everyone hates. The whole world hates it. In fact, let me put a community poll. Let me see how much you guys
People
hate this
just
game.
love to hate on Pokemon. People love to hate on anything that brings other people joy in general, but people really love to hate on Pokemon games.
How much do you hate Pokemon Legends? I'm gonna have fun with the answers here. Legends ZA. It's literally the worst thing ever. It ruined my day. Honestly, I don't care. And bruh, I actually like it.
Bro, I actually like it. I have a lot to say about it, but I do like it.
Yeah, I do. I like it too. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how the poll is going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
100%, it's literally the worst thing ever. Just kidding.
Oh man.
No, it's not. It's not.
Those people probably haven't played though.
Yeah,
or they played the first hour, because that was really the first couple hours is really, really rough.
It is. That literally that's exactly how I feel about it. It's a slog.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like tutorials. And I wanted to just kind of explore.
What, like 4 hours, right? About 4 hours?
I don't know, but I know that I was annoyed at first.
I'm not very far past that because I'm just starting to enjoy it, like the past hour or two. But yeah, I'd say like the first 4 hours, they really hold your hand on what you need to do. But they don't even do a good job at holding your hand, because like even when they're trying to introduce the battle mechanics, I feel like they do a very poor job at explaining it, and you just kind of have to like practice it to understand it.
Sure.
But yeah, the beginning is very, very, very slow.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. Like I was annoyed. Like maybe this is my fault, but there's just a lot of dialogue in the beginning, and I found myself just kind of like pressing A.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just kind of like quickly skim it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I gotta walk there. Cool, I'll figure it out. Like,
yeah,
you know, so there's just a lot of like, but most of it wasn't like meaningful dialogue. Like I'm not like skipping the meaningful stuff, right? But there was kind of like a lot of it, and then when you could finally do something, you have to like follow. For me, her name is Tawny. I'm assuming you're playing as a girl, but
I found out that if you choose a boy or a girl at the beginning, you have a different like side character or whatever. Mine's name is Urbane. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't know how I feel about Urbane.
Do you feel like he's hitting on you in your no? Okay,
no.
I feel like Tawny.
He feels really condescending.
Okay. No, for me, I kind of felt like Tawny's like hitting on me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just put my number in your phone, and meet me out up at the balcony at night. Like, knocking at my door like late at night. Like to me, I was like, all right."
I get the vibe from Urbane that he thinks that I'm very lucky to have his number in my phone. So I don't know. He kind of seems stuck up to me, but he's fine. He's helpful in his own way, I guess. Like he thinks I'm pathetic, and he takes me in to their team because he feels so bad for me. That's how I feel about it.
I wonder if the dialogue is literally exactly the same.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen clips, and some of it for sure is the same.
Okay.
Like the one, like at the beginning, when all those random trainers like come up on you and they want to battle you, and then that Pokemon comes out. I don't want to give too much away. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I know that's the same because I watched somebody like post that somewhere, but it was a guy. So I know that's the same, but I don't know if it's all the same.
I think it would be interesting if it's all exactly the same, because that just kind of shows like how we interpret like gender roles, right?
Probably.
Like how we
or maybe just
people.
Saying a lot about our self-esteem.
I think it's all related. It's all related how we perceive it. But Anyway, like I found myself annoyed though, like because I wanted to explore. I'm like, damn it, I can only go like in this small space. So, like I would try going elsewhere in the road.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see
go.
something in the distance, and they'd hit up your phone. They're like, hey, I'm over here. Yeah, I know.
But I
I
don't
don't want
care
to go
right
over there.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that annoyed me. But what was interesting is that just I kind of like dealt with the slog for a couple hours, and all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I'm like exploring around, right? And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, man, I really want to get past all this tutorial shit. And then I
Mhm.
realized, oh wait, I haven't been stopped by the phone for a while. Oh, I
Mhm.
guess I'm good.
Yeah, that
I
happened to
think
me
it
too.
starts when you meet. I think her name is Emma. Like once you can
A
start doing the
detective
side
agency.
quests.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well, what I
like
think it's
one.
once you complete I think you have to finish the first, what, like 3 side
Yeah,
quests,
but
and
the
then you're
thing
kind of on your
about
own.
that though is that the 3 side quests
Or
are
all over,
scattered
yeah.
throughout the entire map. So I think at
That's
that point
true.
you're like, oh, you can just kind of start doing what you want.
Yeah. That is really when
Um,
the game takes off when you meet. She's like a detective.
yeah.
Um, that's kind of when you get a lot more freedom in the game, and it becomes more fun, I think.
Well, exactly, and I 100% agree. How do you feel about all the detective quests? Because I think this might be the like the best side quest we've ever had in a Pokemon game. This might be
I
the
mean,
Majora's Mask
you're
of
probably right.
Pokemon.
I feel like some of them aren't very in depth. Like it's like I lost something over here. Go find it for me. Or oh, I want a Pikachu, but I already had a Pikachu in my party, so I just handed it over to somebody. Like some of them are super
But
easy.
then you got boys.
I did
You
get
got boys.
my
Boys is
boy.
our boy. He's
That cracked me up.
yeah. I feel like that's supposed to be like some sort of French name, but I'm like, no, that's boys.
Yeah, what is he again? He's a Heracross or a
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's a Heracross. But the thing
Yeah.
is, like, he's actually like a really strong Pokemon for early game.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure. He's
everyone's
still in my
online's
party.
like, yeah, he's still in my party too. Like he's cool.
Hmm.
And I mean, he does get a Mega Evolution, so that helps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you at the Mega Evolution part yet?
Just after that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Boys is he's the best, but
Boy.
I really like the side quests actually. Because the ones I've done. I mean, yeah, there are some that are simpler than others, but I feel like you compare them to a lot of like Zelda side quests. Most Zelda side
Mhm.
quests are kind of lame. They're very basic.
Yeah.
Um, like I would say the Pokemon side quests are way better because most of them are like they're like mini like Pokemon anime episodes, right? Like there was one I used this example in a video recently, but like I ran into a Chespin that was trying to crash like kill a taxi. The
Yeah.
Chespin was like, I'm gonna beat you. And there's this lady's like, no, Chespin, stop trying to fight the taxi. Right. And so like clearly the Chespin had like some pent up aggression. So you fight the Chespin instead. And then you beat the Chespin, and the Chespin's like, no, I want more. So then you do a second battle with the Chespin. And then you do a third battle with the Chespin. And so after that, they're like, oh, hold on. Clearly the Chespin is like on this like war path to become the strongest Pokemon. Maybe we better if you trained him to become the strongest Pokemon or something. Like, and so that's
Yeah.
what you do, right? That's like a very like Pokemon anime episode where you run into this Pokemon with some sort of
Yeah.
weird personality quirk, and you're like, okay,
He
I'll
gets
raise you.
abandoned. Have
Yeah,
him join your team, yeah.
exactly. So I love that, right? Or like I found
Yeah.
another one where there was like this Phantom that was creating all these like wooden little things, and every time you would look away, there would be more, there would be more, there would be more. And
Mhm.
like the Phantom was just kind of like messing around, hiding behind a water fountain. So like that was like just like a whole little thing, like this mystery of the growing like plants around the water fountain. It was a Phantom.
Mhm.
So I kind of really like the side quests, and I feel like personally I can just play the game and only do that.
Honestly, and I think if they did not add in all the side quests, the game would feel really, really empty.
Yes.
Because honestly, like the wild zones they're lacking for sure. Because you've different wild zones, what, 1 through 6, I think is all there is.
So fun fact, the more you play the game, the more wild zones they add.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yeah.
just how far I've gotten. But anyway,
Yeah.
but you go in and then there's only like maybe like 3 or 4 main types of Pokemon in that wild zone. Like the one will have like
Yeah.
Bellsprouts and Mareeps and I can't remember what else was in that
Right,
one.
but I know what you mean though. Like at first, I'm like left thinking, all right, so how do I catch Pokemon? Like, it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
there's many options at first.
Yeah. And every now and again when you're like actually in the city, you'll see some like up in the trees
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I got a Panseer and I can't remember the other ones. I have another one.
So Panseer is the red one, the fire
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
and
What-
Panpour is the water one,
Yeah.
and Pansage is
Yeah.
the
I have a Pansage in my party. I'm just blanking
Nice.
on their names. But yeah, I got all of those like just in random trees running around the streets. You can get like Pidgeys and stuff like that.
yeah.
Sometimes a
The
Trubbish.
rooftops too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's a lot of limitations at first, right? But like the more you play the game, the more wild areas open up, right? And some of there are more interesting wild areas, and you start running into more alpha Pokemon, which are really challenging. Like
Oh my
I
gosh.
got
Yeah.
I got bullied by a Houndoom.
Oh my!
I thought it
I
was good.
playing right before we got on here, and
Yeah.
he killed all of my Pokemon, and I had
Yeah.
to flee the wild zone.
It's crazy. Like
And then all the
some of them
tiny
are really
Houndooms
aggressive.
were also attacking me.
Yeah. It's not just the one. It's like no, I got a whole gang here,
Yeah,
and
it
we're
was
gonna destroy you.
terrible.
Yeah,
Because we're just
I
one
got
shot
bullied in the
killing all
city.
my boys,
Yeah, all of them, including boys.
including boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
But, like,
traumatizing. I had an alpha Bellsprout ragdoll me through a wild zone too, so that was embarrassing.
That's hilarious. But like I mean, so like there's cool stuff, right? Like as you continue, the world gets more interesting. I actually think they have a really good gameplay loop because you had those alpha Pokemon that are so alpha and they have their little gangs and they beat you
Yeah.
up, right? Which is really cool. There's like a challenge there, right?
Mhm.
And at first there's not that many wild areas, but they do add more. There's more Pokemon. And also eventually you unlock like a glide ability. I don't know if I spoiled that for you, but you kind of get a little bit more ability to platform. You probably realize
Yeah.
that though, because you're like, I want to climb this. I can't. Right.
Yeah.
Which is a little annoying at first, but you do unlock it and you can start kind of like jumping from one building to another. So you kind of get a little bit more freedom and you start running into more Pokemon on the rooftops and different things. So like, it's not even just the wild areas. There are just kind of Pokemon hidden. I don't know if you knew this. And first off, there's something I want to say. I don't think it's that big a deal, but you might consider it a big deal. There is an area you can explore in the game. If I tell you what it is, will that be too much of a spoiler?
Guess we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Go
Okay.
ahead.
There are sewers.
Okay. Yeah. No. I've been in them.
Okay.
I think I was.
Oh, maybe.
I think accidentally, I stumbled upon some. Or is it
I
a whole
wonder if
mission? Or am I
Oh.
just at somewhere else? I don't know.
So I'm curious. I feel like I'm further ahead than you, but
For
I
sure.
have
How many hours are you in?
I don't know, like 15, 16.
Oh no. I'm not near. I'm like under 10.
I might be closer to 20. I'm not sure. It's somewhere there.
Okay.
You might have. I don't know. I didn't know you could get to the sewers that early. So
I don't know if I'm
let
like
me-
officially in the sewers, but I
You
remember
might-
whenever they were speculating, like what's gonna like what they're gonna have in the game, like before the game released. Someone was saying, what's the word I'm looking for? That they have underneath the catacombs. Someone was
Yeah,
speculating
yeah.
they'd have those. Is
Yeah.
it kind of like that kind of vibe?
a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Maybe I
seen
haven't.
all
Maybe
of it, so I don't know if it's like super expansive. I don't think. I don't think this is like the depths and Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah.
I don't know because I haven't like I've gone maybe like 20 hours into the game. But there are sewers and people are like, oh, this like graphically looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Which is
I don't
people
think
are
I'm in
finding
the
it-
I don't think I'm in the actual sewers yet, but I did stumble across an area that gave me sewer vibes. And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of like grime and stuff I had to use my Totodile to help me with. But
Yeah, so I've ran into that. I don't think that's the sewers. I think that's like the sewers. That's like pre-sewers.
yeah, just
Um,
like waterways, kind of.
Yeah. And so I think it's actually you haven't gone there yet. But yeah, there are waterways, right? So like there's a little bit more to explore. And I think you brought up another thing that I kind of like about the game. how like there are these obstacles like sludge, right, or rocks
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
thickets,
Yeah.
ice, and so it's kind of like from prior Pokemon games, you would have these things like you would have boulders, trees that you need to
Mhm.
cut or move or smash.
Yeah.
They have that here, but and you actually get to use moves very much like back then. The difference is it's not like there's a specific move that does it. It's actually like a type of move. So like if you have sludge, water or
Water
fire
move, yeah.
will clear it or
Yeah.
burn it out, right? Or if it's a boulder, a strong fighting attack will work. Like at first I thought it was just rock smash, but then I was like, what if
Mhm.
I try using brick break? And it worked. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So they kind of brought back HMs, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So
How
I
do you feel
love
about
that.
the battle mechanics?
I really like them. I think they're really fun. I love the fast paced nature of it. I think it's definitely a huge improvement over Arceus.
Mhm. No, I agree.
Yeah. I
I
don't
think they
think it's
get
a
more fun
replacement.
the long
Go
like
on.
the more you're like ranking up through what do they call it? Through the battle what do they
Yeah,
call it?
the ZA Royale,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like
As you're
that.
ranking up through there and you have to go to like the battle zones or whatever, like the more you do it, the more fun I think it is. Again, at first they do hold your hand a lot at the beginning of the game, but I don't think they did a very good job at like explaining like how the battle mechanics work. Like, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but as far as like dodging certain moves or you know what I mean, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't even. Do you really dodge, or you just
Not really,
accidentally
but
avoid?
I think I accidentally avoid things maybe,
Yeah,
but I don't know, just it seemed really clunky at first, maybe.
sure.
But the more I do it, the more I like it. Plus it's fun to like when you're in the battle zones to like sneak up on people and then you get the
Yeah,
advantage.
yeah.
I like that.
I mean, movement's definitely important. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want to say I don't want to act like I've mastered the mechanics already, because like so some there are some things that are really because there are like area of effect attacks, right? And
Mhm.
so you're like, oh snap, I'm literally in a pool of sludge that is just killing me right now. You gotta move away from it, right? Or like, have you like seen like stealth rocks and like that's just you don't want to run through stealth rocks, right? So you gotta kind of maneuver out of that.
Mhm.
But
Some of them will
it
use mist and stuff like that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So some of that's pretty cool. I I don't. I also think there are some moves that kind of feel useless, right? Like, and maybe I just haven't played enough of the game, but like I feel like a lot of status moves that aren't like area of effect stuff are kind of useless, like leash seed, recover. It just kind of seems like defensive oriented like moves and Pokemon don't have a strength in this engine.
There are certain ones that definitely worked more for like the turn-based um
Yeah.
style. Like even like Thunder Wave, like when you're trying to paralyze another opponent.
Right.
I have not even if my someone on my team or another Pokemon is paralyzed,
Like,
nothing happens.
sure. No, I
Um
actually kind of like it when I get paralyzed. I look like I'm powered up. I'm like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's true. That's
lightning
true.
mode. Let's kick some ass.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. But I feel like there isn't those are like you said, they're not really effective at all
Mhm.
in the style. And there's a part of me I actually do really like the battle mechanics because they are new and they are fresh. And I feel like for the legend style game they work really well. But there's a part of me that might not want them in like a regular mainline like 10th generation Pokemon game.
Yeah, and I thought about that
Just
because
be just for nostalgia reasons and also sometimes when I am picking up a Pokemon game, I'm picking it up because I want something passive that I don't have to be,
sure,
you know what I mean?
sure,
Um, or
that's
it'd
an
be cool if they had the
interesting point.
option for you to choose, like, and switch back and forth.
Hmm.
Like, it'd almost be like in your settings menu. So it's not like for each battle,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
pick what kind of battle you want to do. You can choose in your settings what style of gameplay you want to play, basically.
I think there is. I feel like that's possible for sure. Like plausible. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a game personally, but I do feel like there have probably been some RPGs, and if you can think of one, or someone if someone in the chat can think of one, where there is like an RPG that has like two different. I mean, actually, technically, Pokemon does have two different modes already.
Dragon
There's
Quest 11. It wasn't exactly that, but you could like switch whenever you wanted between 3D and 2D version of the game.
Yeah.
Like so, almost like it was like classic 2D version of Dragon Quest, or you could play like in the newer 3D style. So you could do that
that's
whenever
pretty
you wanted in
dramatic.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe there is something like that. So I think one, because we have Pokemon Champions, which is going to be where the competitive circuit's going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
I think Game Freak does have more freedom in experimenting with the battle mechanics in the the mainline games that aren't Legends. Like Legends, obviously they can experiment, right? But with the other games, because of that, I think they do have a little bit more freedom there, so that they could maybe even bring in like this engine, right? But if they did, they would kind of like really be ruining a lot of things, like Thunder Wave, for example, or Sleep. Like these things kind of
Because
feel
it really
useless right
does.
now.
Yeah, it makes some moves
Yeah.
like totally obsolete. Like they're not relevant at all.
And so, like, if they were to kind of like do real time combat in the other mainline games, I think they would have to treat it differently. Like maybe it's not so much real time, but you are allowed to move.
Yeah.
You can move, but you
Have you ever played Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch?
No, but
That's
feel free to
exactly how that plays, where you can run and dodge
pull the
things.
video.
You can run and that game's I love that game so much.
Wrath of the Witch.
Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. The cutscenes were
Nino.
done by Studio Ghibli actually, so it looks
Okay.
great. Not all
Wrath
of the
of the
cutscenes were
Witch.
this one. Yeah, Wrath of the White Witch.
What should I
But-
like put up as? So there was a trailer that came out 6 years ago. Will that suffice to show
Yeah.
the battle engine?
Yeah, so basically you can like dodge attacks and stuff like that, but you have to like use the D-pad to scroll through your options and then to scroll through your team, because you have they call them familiars in the game, and they're kind of
Okay.
like Pokemon. So you can send out your team members, or you can play as like your main party members, and they all have like different skill sets and stuff like that, but you have to like scroll through your moves that way. But that would be the like best way to integrate the two styles.
I want to look for combat. I'm just looking at all this story stuff. It's funny.
That's such a great
Alright.
game.
Combat's coming up now.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is you like running on the field. It should show combat here in a second. Maybe it'll show it. Yeah. So see how he's picking through his attacks, and you have to wait. It has like the clock. You have to wait until the attack loads or until you can send out a new one. But you can run around and dodge all those attacks from like the enemies and stuff like that.
But there's a timer.
Yeah, just basically from when you can use the attack again, which is kind of like they do that on Pokemon now.
A cooldown.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so, it sounds like there's definitely, like, they can definitely kind of find, like, a little bit of a middle ground there. And maybe it's enough of a middle ground where it's something you can turn off for those that don't want to play it. And I do think Game Freak would want to be careful about that, because you have people who buy every game because it's a certain type of game, and that's what they've come to like, and that's what they play.
Yeah.
So if they do too much of a departure, they do run the risk of losing that audience, right? So that's like a lot of people kind of get on Game Freak for not making enough changes, right?
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, they kind of have to be very careful about that given their situation.
Yeah.
And then, we also have things like the Legends games where they do have more freedom to experiment, right? So that's one of the reasons why it's great we have Legends games, so we can kind of get a little bit of both.
No, I agree.
And I do feel like they are continually trying to push the series, maybe not enough for what people kind of demand, but they're always
slowly
trying
making
something.
changes. With the amount of money that Pokemon as a franchise makes, we should have unbelievable Pokemon games. But
Right.
a lot of us are playing them for nostalgia, and they are, at the end of the day, they are games for children and
Yeah.
for people in their 30s too. That's fine, but like their goal is to make games for children. So I feel like I have to remind myself of that sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels lazy. Like Scarlet and Violet, like visually felt
There's
very, very lazy and very
there was
rushed.
no excuse. That was rushed. Like I think they had a really good concept, but it was just poorly executed. I think the game needed to wait another year.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, and so what we're getting now, right? It looks like they're spreading out their generations more, right? So
Yeah.
this is not officially confirmed yet, but it's basically obviously the truth. Like, so there's no new generation that's come out this year, right? This would have been the year based off their pattern over the last like 15 years. But obviously at this point, Gen 10 is coming out next year. So that's a good thing. It's a 4-year span as opposed to the 3 years they've been doing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you heard about the massive leaks for like Gen 10 and stuff, right? So like Gen
I was
10.
just watching
Yeah.
yesterday. I was watching stuff on that yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still salty. I had put out a leak video that got blocked.
Oh man.
Yeah, it literally ruined everything because my Pokemon videos were doing well, and then after that they all flopped.
Oh man. Yeah, that sucks.
It was really frustrating. I did a summary video, but it was kind of like it was I missed the boat. Well, I didn't miss the boat. I was on the boat. I got kicked off the boat.
Yeah.
So, but anyway though, like we heard from the leaks, and these aren't like, so when I say leaks, like it's not possible leak. It is 100% real leak. There are documents, like we saw internal documentation. Like, point is, we also heard that Gen 11 is planned for 2030. The reason that's a big deal is because that's showing that they're now focusing on a 4-year plan between generations as opposed to 3. That's good news. That means literally more time between games. It's more time for them to focus on putting in more quality and polish as opposed to rushing them out. Had Scarlet and Violet had that extra year, probably wouldn't have been treated so horribly, or come out so horribly, which then deservedly was treated horribly.
Yeah. And like people can say what they want about Legends ZA. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. People want Game Freak to do more with their games, but if you visually put Arceus and ZA next to each other, ZA looks fantastic. Like it does look visually very good. And I know there's like the whole thing about the buildings being 2D and the windows not being 3D. When I'm playing, I'm not focusing on that at all, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's just people being nitpicky about things. And I understand. They could put more effort in. I'm not saying they couldn't, but I feel like people are just looking for something, anything to complain about when it comes to Pokemon games.
I think the hate is not justified. I'm not here trying to argue it's the best game of the year. It's not close. But do I think it's like a bad I don't even think I think it's actually a good Pokemon game. It is a good
Pokemon game, yeah.
Maybe even great. Yeah. I am really enjoying it. I want to play more of it now.
It's fun. It's nostalgic. Yeah. Like that's what we're there. That's what most of us are there for.
I've never played a Pokemon game thinking that, this is gonna be my game of the year. Like I've never done that.
No, probably not. Maybe when I was younger, like on the Game Boy Advance, but
yeah, I mean the thing is, it's kind of like there are some things you enjoy that aren't like considered from a critical acclaim perspective the most objectively best thing ever, right? Like there are movies you watch or shows you watch that you know it's not good.
Oh yeah,
but you still like it. I actually watched. I just recently like binge watched this sitcom. Is it Baby Daddy? I think it's called.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a bad sitcom. Like it is bad. Right? It's about this dude who he has a one-night stand with a girl. And then one day he randomly, because he has a roommate, a friend, and his brother, who's a hockey player, moves in, right? He just, one day they're all like starting to live together. And he just sees his baby at his doorstep with a letter. The mother had the kid without him knowing. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm a dad now. And so he has to figure that out. It's like
that sounds like an anime. I swear to God, there's an anime exactly.
There probably is. There's an anime for literally everything. There's an anime for every sort of like drama slash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not gonna even go
Yeah.
down that path because it gets weird. But yeah, no. I mean, point is
No, I
like
get
it's
it.
not a good show, but
Yeah.
I mean it's okay. Like I guess what I'm trying to say, like some of the jokes are bad, right? Like, but I still enjoyed it. Like there's still things to enjoy about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Are you saying what I think you're saying here? Has this just been confirmed? I saw people speculating, but has this just been confirmed?
No, I'm pulling up my phone.
Oh, it's happening! Luigi's Mansion was just confirmed for NSO. Thank you, Yu.
Oh, nice.
Appreciate you. Breaking news!
Yeah.
Breaking news. I'm ending the stream
50
now.
50 minutes ago. Just in
15 or
time.
50?
That's 50, 50.
Okay. Dude, I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. This is gonna
This
happen.
is the best time of year for it.
Right before Halloween. Actually, this is
Yeah.
honestly this is more evidence for that something crazy is happening next week because they could have saved. Wait, when's it coming out? Is it already available? I assumed it was shadow dropped. Oh, it's coming out October 30th, right before Halloween. Perfect timing.
I feel like they should have done beginning of the month, but
Something spooky is coming to Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics.
Let's go.
this feels like an old school commercial.
Yeah.
Early
Feel like
2000s.
they're using like a filter.
Yeah.
They recently added that feature. I mean, I think they did the Switch 1 versions of some of the
This
games,
is great timing because I'm actually going to be Luigi for Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Luigi's Mansion. Available October 30th.
I like how they
Nintendo Switch 2
went
system
extra with the
Nintendo
commercial.
Switch Online
Mhm.
Plus expansion
That looks great.
membership. And
Oh,
now,
man.
You can experience the whole spine-tingling trilogy with these Nintendo Switch games that are compatible with Nintendo Switch 2.
Bro, Luigi's Mansion 4 is so happening. I know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
tomorrow.
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they did. Listen, had they just ended the trailer right here,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been fine. But the fact that they went, by the way, all three are available. Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion 4 is so happening.
I
I
feel
think
like
it's
Luigi
coming out
Mansion
next
3
year.
brought a lot of people, like got a lot of
Yes,
people
it did.
familiar with the games. So
It's one of the best selling Switch games. It's
Mhm.
huge. I
for
forget
good
how
reason.
much
It's a really
sold.
fun game.
I love it so much. That's good news. That is great news. I'm ready. I'm very ready for this. Yeah. All right, that's it. So it's up. I'm good. I'm happy now.
That is exciting.
Yeah. Oh man, cool stuff. What were we talking about before? We were talking about Pokemon.
Pokemon, I think, still, yeah.
Yeah, we could
We're
wrap
talking
up
about
in a few minutes.
next gen
Yeah.
Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was something I wanted to say. So something I missed here. No, we're good. Demanding a high, bigger budget games from Pokemon, I think it's interesting, for several reasons. Right? We have the situation we were just talking about with Metroid Prime 4, where it's a big budget game, and we wanted to sell more, right, to kind of prove
Mhm.
that it was worth it. Meanwhile, we have these Pokemon games that have a much smaller budget but sell extraordinarily more, and they come out
Yeah.
with so much so much more frequency. The return on investment with Pokemon is one of the most insane ratios that
Mhm.
there is in the industry.
Mhm.
Maybe even beyond the game industry, just like period.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of one of those things where, like, I think people want Game Freak to put a bigger budget, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but what I do want to highlight is that you also have this big issue in the industry where a lot of video game companies do put in an extraordinary, huge, ridiculous budget, and then the game does not sell well enough, and that company then goes out of business, or they're then forced to find ways to kind of make up that loss with, you know, microtransactions and
Yeah.
you know, cut content at, you know, positioned as DLC or what have you. Or I mean, I think DLC, honestly, I think a lot of people like get mad about DLC too much. I think most of the time companies can make DLC that's meant as content that comes out afterwards. Like, this content wouldn't exist otherwise. Now it's hard to prove that, right? And so I can see how some people would just be suspicious. Regardless, though, you do have some companies that probably are kind of just cutting some content for DLC if they think they can get away with it. I'm sure that has happened.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just kind of hard to prove, right?
Mhm.
But so we have this issue, right? So you look at the Pokemon games, they sell really well, consistently, and their budgets are minimal.
Yeah.
I understand we kind of want them to do more, but from a developer's perspective, or rather from a game company's business perspective,
Mhm.
they literally are in the gold zone,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're doing it's the perfect scenario for them. Now, you know, with all of this negativity, right? Like, I think it can eventually impact the brand, and then so we'll start to see, you know, sales to weaken. I think that can
Yeah.
happen. I mean, I think what they did with Scarlet and Violet, you know, that's something that hurts the brand.
Mhm.
But I don't think Legends ZA is a Scarlet and Violet situation. I don't think this is an unpolished game. I don't see glitches. I'm not having frame rate issues. I think they went for a minimalist approach with the buildings and such.
Yeah.
Likely because maybe they were trying to make sure the Switch 1 version runs well. Now, do I think if maybe the game was made with a different engine, with a different developer, they probably
Yeah.
could have had better looking windows and it would still run great?
Mhm.
Probably yes. That, I think, is also kind of like a bigger issue with the structure Game Freak has. I think Game Freak's been using the same Pokemon engine for years, and they're kind of like from one project to the next. So they haven't had time to kind of reset and, I guess, like really modernize everything they got going on. So they're kind of just,
Mhm.
it's a band-aid on top of a band-aid on top of a band-aid, is the way I sort of understand it. And so what we've heard from the leaks is they're actually moving on to a new engine, which might actually fix a lot of these issues. They might be able to optimize better, not, you know, be trying to kind of like just shoehorn in concepts and mechanics into this age-old engine that hasn't been appropriately like built or structured to handle this stuff.
I think some
So that
people
might
just
fix a
want
lot.
unrealistic things out of Pokemon games. Like, again, like we talked before, they're forgetting that these games, they're not making them for those of us that are in our late 20s, 30s, whatever. They're making them for the younger generation. So, like, would it be cool if we got a Pokemon Legends game in the style of Ghost of Yotei? Yeah, that would be sick. You're riding through feudal Japan on a Ponyta. That'd be awesome. It's
Oh my
my
God,
wildest dreams come true. But that's not the reality of it. Because I feel like a lot of developers and stuff aren't actually making games geared towards children anymore. Like, Nintendo is one of the only ones left that is actually making games that kids can play. Like, I have 2 kids that are 7 and 10. There are very few games that I can get for them that I know that they can, one, actually play, like difficulty level wise, and 2, that isn't like gory and bloody and, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I feel like they have to stay true to that kind of model also, because they can't mature it too much. I mean, it'd be cool for us to get a Pokemon game just for us. It'd be awesome, but I just don't see that happening.
I mean, I feel like that's what the Legends games kind of are. Like, it seems like they deal with some darker concepts.
Yeah.
You can get mollywopped. I've noticed that, you know, like when you get hit, like the screens, like maybe it's not expressively like clearly blood, but it looks like a little bloody. Like when you're
Oh,
getting
yeah,
hit,
I get
like
what you're
it's all
saying,
red
yeah.
and kind of smeared. Like to me,
I just think
that's the
danger,
closest
like
thing
you're
we'll
in
get to.
danger, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's probably how they got to get away with it. But
Mm-hmm.
you could very easily choose that to mean, oh yeah, I'm getting bludgeoned right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Legends games kind of have that, but it's one of those things. I think it's kind of like cartoons. Like you remember like watching like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there were a lot of jokes that for
Mm-hmm.
kids goes right over their head, right? But
Yeah.
parents or like younger adults are like, oh
Yeah. If you ever
yeah,
rewatch any of that stuff from like the early 2000s nowadays, it's weird. They say some weird shit.
yeah. I think there was one. This is one that I talk about a lot. I have to go back and see it because I told some people about it and they like don't believe me. But I remember, again, maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't think I am. There's a SpongeBob episode where Patrick and SpongeBob are talking, and Patrick says something that like helps solve the situation, obviously by accident because it's Patrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But SpongeBob is like, Patrick, your genius is showing, and Patrick responds,
Looks down at
by,
his fly.
he's
I
like,
know
where?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so thank you for
I
confirming
know
that.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, he thought he didn't say genius. He thought he said
Yeah.
the P word,
Yeah.
right? That's not a kid joke.
Yeah. There's a
It's
lot
funny.
There's a lot in SpongeBob. That's
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It
I don't know how
ages
they got away
well
with a lot of
for
it. Yeah, I
older
don't know how they
audiences,
got
right?
away with
Or
a
like
lot of it.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, just crazy.
Mm-hmm. That one
It's some
scared me when
dark
I was
stuff.
a kid. Yeah, that one was really scary.
That's dark even for children.
Yeah.
And so looking at Pokemon, I do kind of get the sense that well, what I mean is that in Pokemon there have been moments like that where there is like dialogue that maybe a 6-year-old won't quite understand, but if you kind of consider the subtext and the context, you can extrapolate some darker, more mature themes.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah.
ridiculous, but they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I agree with you. I mean, I don't think Pokemon should change from that perspective. I think definitely the polished perspective. I think definitely they can
Yeah.
improve the visuals. And I don't think that it's so much that the games need to be made to be for kids. They just need to be made for everyone, including
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So, like
I
I would
just
say
yeah.
like Mario and Zelda games, you can enjoy as a 40-year-old, you can enjoy as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. And again, at the end of the day, people are going to find something to complain about, especially after Scarlet and Violet. I feel like that just fueled everybody to like just hate on Pokemon games.
This is not true, but Travis B25 is saying the Wii was released 26 years ago tomorrow. That is not true.
The Wii.
It's not true.
No,
the Wii
that's
came
not
out in
true.
2006. It'll be 20 years next November.
So I was gonna say, I feel like
Yeah.
I was getting a GameCube around that time.
Yeah. 26 years ago would be 1999.
Oh, so that's still N64.
Yeah, it's not even GameCube yet.
Yeah,
Or
GameCube's
if you got a
2001?
GameCube, who is your source?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get GameCube till 2002 actually for me. I got to enjoy the Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime, super perfect, beautiful holiday combo.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
GameCube's great.
It's the best. Which is why I'm happy to play Luigi's Mansion next week on my
That's
Switch 2.
exciting.
It's gonna be pretty sick. Anyway, I feel like we've kind of talked about most of the things we planned on talking about. Is there something you want to kind of like touch on before we wrap things up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I will put, guys, if there's anything you want us to talk about or bring up or ask in the chat, I'll put it out there now. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes to address this or talk about whatever. I will point out the poll, which got 73 votes while we were talking. I had asked, how much do you hate Pokemon Legends ZA? 5% said it ruined my day. 14%, it's literally the worst thing ever. 34% said, "Bruh, I actually like it." I thought that was maybe going to win. Oh, that just
Mhm.
dropped. It just dropped down to 33%, and the winner is at 47%. Honestly, I don't care.
Man.
So I think that's funny though, because we haven't even had that much of a viewership drop. Like there was a little bit of a viewership dropped off when we moved on to talk about Pokemon, but it wasn't like
Mhm.
it wasn't half. It
Yeah.
wasn't close to 40. It was like 10, 15ish, right?
Yeah.
So which also kind of just naturally happens as we get later into the night. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
necessarily like just because of Pokemon. I think it's a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
combination. So it I appreciate you for still watching when you honestly don't care, even though we were talking about Pokemon for the last 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's obvious what I care the most about.
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Pokemon fan,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just think it's weird that people are being so negative on the game. Like I think given the popularity of Pokemon and Nintendo, pretty much every game that comes out is going to be under scrutiny. There's going to be like some level of negativity, especially with like increased prices now.
It's so weird though that so many people have an opinion on like people that aren't even like fans of Pokemon have such an opinion on it. Like I saw this one video the other day and they were like, Pokemon fans, you deserve better. I'm upset for you. I'm like, bro, we're fine. We're enjoying the game. It's really okay. Like it's just so like everyone just has such an opinion on it. I don't get it.
But the weird part is, how can you have that kind of opinion on the game if you haven't played the game?
Yeah. You guys deserve
Right?
better. Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like that's just such a weird take. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not here like strolling. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a game that I think sucks, but there's a big audience. Okay, all right. This might be a little bit of a hot take. This is probably not a good analogy then. I don't like Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really fascinate me that much. Like I've played a few Grand Theft Auto games. I appreciate the open sandbox nature and messing around, but it
It was
hasn't
fun
really
in
like
like middle school, but I
it
don't
doesn't
want to
draw
hit
me
a
in.
I don't want to hit a hooker with a baseball bat anymore. Like that just doesn't do it for me anymore. So
After the first 50 times, you kind of
yeah,
get it out of your
it just
system.
gets old. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think this. I'm not trying to say that Grand Theft Auto doesn't have nuance. I'm not even trying to talk. I'm not trying to speak ill of the game at all. I recognize that they're highly critically acclaimed games. They're great. They're very popular. But I don't see how it interests me in any way, right? So like, I'm not here thinking, oh, why are you playing that? Like, that doesn't
Yeah.
help you. It's not good for you. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's
Dive into all these issues with the game that I don't care about.
actually I thought of a better analogy, right? Because Grand
Hmm.
Theft Auto is considered to be good, right? Like by critics. Um, let's talk about like I don't know, like NBA 2K or FIFA or Madden.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically the same experience. It's been
Over and
every
over and
year
over again.
for
Yeah.
decades, right? And especially with recent games, because of online updates, you can just update the roster for the new year. You don't
Exactly. Yeah.
that's probably the main reason why you'd want to get a new game, just to like have the most up to date roster. You don't even necessarily need to do that, yet people still buy those games.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero interest in talking to people like talking to people who play Madden or FIFA. Like, hey man, like why are you buying this game every year? Like, what's wrong with you? You deserve better. Like
Yeah.
that I have zero interest in doing that, and I don't see many people. Like, I'm sure it is a talking point that like these games are kind of like a little lazy from that perspective, right? But
Yeah.
people clearly buy them. People are clearly interested
Oh
in
my
them, and
gosh. Yeah.
I don't think Pokemon is even close to that bad, because at least
Mm-mm.
with Pokemon, it's a new adventure every time with a new
Yeah.
story, new
Yeah.
things, new mechanics. But that point is being so strongly made for Legends EA more so than any of those games ever have been, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
No, it is. It's odd. I just think
Yeah.
people want, and that's also the thing. Like Pokemon's trending on different platforms right now, so
Right.
people, if you're talking about Pokemon, your videos and your content, it's going to get pushed, and
If you're
negativity
talking about
sells like a lot
Pokemon
right now.
negatively, if you talk
Yeah.
about it positively, it ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
You got to be negative about it. You got to say like something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or at least
so
have some sort of clickbait going on.
yeah, at least got to draw them in with the negativity, which
Yeah.
is really unfortunate. And me as a YouTuber, right? Like I think there's a little bit of a psychological effect of when I talk about a certain topic and it does well. Inherently, I like that topic more, like for
Mhm.
sure, right? Because you're kind of, it's like, oh, you did something. Here's a cookie, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like positive reinforcement.
Mhm.
So when someone does, I've seen some YouTubers like they'll try one negative, like they'll see no success for years. One
Mhm.
day they're like, hey, let's just put out a negative take, blows up, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden they're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, right? And so
Mhm.
all of a sudden you see this huge swing in their content type,
Shift, yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's just all negative stuff. Why do you think that actually is? Is that just their honest opinion about everything, that they literally are just mad
Oh,
and
yeah,
angry about all
negativity
this stuff?
sells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Right now,
unfor
at
I
least,
mean,
in this day and age, that's how it is.
I I I hate it, but
I do too, I do too,
yeah,
but that's how it is, and if you wanna be positive about something, your comments are gonna be filled with people being negative about it.
bootlicker,
Yeah.
right? And it's funny because they think you're lying, but you're actually being honest.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be treated, and then the people who are being negative, like, oh, thank you for telling us the truth, even though often, I'm not saying it's always lies, but there are people who are literally like fabricating, misleading
Yeah,
stuff,
just really lean into that negative
and
kinda
they're
content,
okay with
yeah.
it. Yeah, so it's weird. And I think that what happens though is that when you have like creators that do that, a lot of people who are not really aware of that, they get
Mhm.
manipulated into like, oh, so this is terrible. Like, most people aren't like trained like to like understand like journalism or like how media works, right? So they
Yeah.
just see some negative thing and they believe it. Like that's their
Well, and
first
also if you're
response.
not in, like, the realm of, like, creating any sort of content, I feel like it's kinda hard to see through some
Right.
people stuff,
No,
but I've also seen people bashing, like, Pokemon content creators, and they're like, "Yeah, they're only saying it's good because Pokemon gives them a paycheck, and they're obviously gonna hype up everything Pokemon does
have
because
you
they give
seen
them
their
a
budget?
paycheck."
They
Yeah,
ain't paying them squat.
yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
maybe people like things, like, people have interests, they can lead into that interest, and that's what their
Yeah.
content's based around, so yeah, they're going to talk about the game. That's what their whole platform's about. I don't know.
I really don't like that take that we see some from people that just assume someone's opinion's invalid because it's not what they want to hear.
Mhm.
Like you need evidence.
Yeah.
There needs to be
And they're not
evidence
getting
to
commission.
believe
If you buy the
something.
game, they're not getting commission off of it.
No,
They're not
Nintendo
getting
doesn't
anything
do
off of
that.
it. Yeah.
They're really cheap. Like it's one or the other, right? If you want to hate Nintendo for being cheap, you want to hate Pokemon for being cheap, sure. But then also assume that they're also splurging money to manipulate like reviewers, right? Like
Yeah.
it's one or the other. It's
Mm-mm.
not both. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's why I think you just got to like literally like just be me speaking from like from a perspective of trying to get people to understand stuff. You can hear someone's opinion, but take it for that someone's opinion, right? Formulate
Mhm.
your own opinion,
Yeah.
right? And actually look at what's going on, right? And consider it critically. Don't just like assume what someone's telling you is objectively true. A lot of people are manipulative or are
Yeah.
also confused or
Mhm.
just make mistakes. I make mistakes. I'm not saying I get everything right. I definitely don't. So,
Or they just wanna
I
die they're on that hill and they wanna die on that hill because they don't wanna go
yeah.
back and say that they changed their mind.
Yeah. I think but I think people should be allowed to change their mind
Yeah. No, I
as
agree.
evidence presents itself. I think if you're not willing to change your mind, that's actually a bigger kind of red flag because that shows that you're kind of disingenuous. Like inherently, you're gonna
Mhm.
some things your perspective is gonna kind of shift over time.
Yeah.
So, but check in with the chat real quick before we kind of call it a night. Wilberforce Rooster, I've played GTA 3, never had interest in playing any other. That one just fulfilled you. It was the perfect game. Mike Odyssey, what's up, man? Negativity attracts drama. People love drama. Another reason for
Mhm.
negativity is that a form of distraction from the negative things in their own lives, sadly.
No, that's
It's
true,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah. Wilberforce Wooster, Metacritic of 80 isn't even that high of a score. How are the reviewers not being honest? A lot of people are trying to argue the user score that's like at a 3.2 or something is more honest. 3.2 is definitely not honest. That's a review bomb.
Mhm.
There's no such thing as a 3.2 game. Like, I think like people consider like Superman 64 to be like the worst game ever. Like, it's not a 3.2 game. It's an 8. That's probably fair. An 8's probably what the game is.
Mhm.
It's a good game, and if you're a fan of it, it might even be great.
Yeah.
I like bringing up this analogy a lot. Like when I was a kid, on GameCube, I used to play Naruto Clash of Ninja like crazy. It's an anime fighting game, right? So inherently, it's not going to be a masterpiece, right? It might be a little shallow, but it was a good game. But because I was a fan of Naruto, it was a great game,
It was a great
right?
game, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think the game was probably reviewed like probably was close to averaging like an 8 out of 10. Like it's a good game. But for me, it was better. And I think, that should apply to kind of any sort of scenario. Like if you're more of a fan of something, you can appreciate it more. Like the Mario movie, right? Like the Mario movie, it's not critically acclaimed, but if you're like a Nintendo fan, there's a lot in there that you're going to really like. And so
Mhm.
it's been better for you. So Darcy, 7257. There is a best girl in ZA, and it is not Emma. I think there are some different characters that you run into as you get deeper into the game. I see some stuff online, so I'm assuming it's someone that's late game. So we'll see. Best boys is boys.
I love boys.
Boys is the best. Netweed09. As much as I want to like ZA, I just feel it lacks too much polish. Legends was the more arcane, natural game. I had seen ZA's ending though. It's great, but it's too late by then. So Netweed, have you played the game or have you just like seen the game? I agree with you that Arceus was kind of more my vibe,
Mhm.
but I also kind of feel like with Legends ZA, they've just kind of the gameplay. I think first off, Legends Arceus way better start. And I think I liked the atmosphere a lot more, and it felt more fresh. Definitely made me. It gave me strong feelings. Like I love Arceus. So I'm not ready to say that ZA is better than Arceus, but I do kind of feel like between like the ZA Royale, the side quests, the real time battling, the gameplay loop I think is actually pretty strong.
Mhm.
So
There's definitely things from Arceus or Arceus, however you want to say it, that I wish they would have brought over. Like less of the wild zones, more of like you just running through the wild, or even
yeah,
like just like Pokemon, just more in the streets and stuff like that. Um, but it does do some things better than Arceus, like the battles and stuff like that. And I don't
yeah,
think catching Pokemon's is easy. Like I feel like in Arceus you could throw a Pokeball at anything and you would catch it. Whereas in ZA, I feel like most Pokemon you have to at least like weaken in order to catch them.
if you
Not
use
all of them.
it depends. Like if you're behind them and you use better balls.
Oh yeah.
But I agree. Like there were balls you could use that had better range, like the
Mm-hmm.
feather balls, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a little bit more options from that perspective. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I think they want you to do more battling in this one, which actually I like.
Yeah.
This game is more battle focused, and the battle engine's better, so it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense
But if you want
for
to
sure.
explore and like catch Pokemon and build your Pokedex, Arceus is definitely like more the vibe for that. But I think they do a lot of cool stuff with ZA that they didn't, that would have been awesome if they implemented it before.
Yeah, for sure. Looking through the chat here, Lexi, I've been watching some reviews and it seems a little bland, but if people are having fun, I'm not hating. I feel like because most of the marketing for Legends ZA, I feel like was not even like that good. because
No.
I was a little low on the game until
I honestly had no
right before.
idea what I was getting into. Like going into it, I felt like I was very much going into it blind. And I feel like a lot of games I don't feel that way. I feel like I know what
Yeah.
I'm getting into before I even start. I really felt like I was going into it blind, which is kind of a good thing, I think. Um, but yeah, I feel like the more,
until that
again, like we
tutorial.
talked about, the more you play, I think the better, the more interesting it is. So a lot of people, if you're watching gameplay, you're getting like 20 minutes into somebody's video of them playing. Yeah, it's pretty boring. Like it really is, especially
Yeah.
watching someone else play it. I'm sure is very boring.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting point. And that might be part of the issue. You kind of need to play the game to like be like, oh, this is why it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the reason like the game's gonna do well is just because Pokemon was gonna sell regardless, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like you and I are probably gonna buy Legends ZA no matter what, pretty much. Just because based off the history of the series. So we bought it because it was Pokemon, and we have already waited over a year because they didn't have a game last year, right?
Yeah.
So we bought it and we pushed through the slog of the tutorial. And now we're like, oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it. I think that's something they probably should keep in mind that the game doesn't show really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even think the game's that ugly either, though. Like I think actually, I mean, I'm playing the Switch 2 version. The Switch 2 version is definitely, I think that makes a difference. But
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, I saw one thing here that I want to point out. I see Metroid conversations.
Hey, I have to hop off here.
Yeah,
My
sure.
my dog's being ridiculous. So
No
I'm
problem.
so sorry, but I gotta hop off. But it was really fun being on.
Yeah.
I like talking about Pokemon. So
For sure.
um
I was literally
but
just wrapping up, but
okay,
have
perfect.
a great night. Guys, make sure to check out Sarah. Her Instagram is in the description below. She covers Nintendo, so check her out.
All right, thank you so much. Bye.
See ya. Bye. Yeah. Yeah, guys, make sure to check her out. Her Instagram is in the description below. Anyway, getting back to the chat. Netweed09, Prime 4 honestly looks spectacular. I agree. It looks awesome. Prime 4 does. I mean, even me thinking about it though, like even Prime 4, I think Nintendo up to this point hasn't shown the game really well. And like the more I think about it, this might be kind of a recurring issue of certain games not showing really well. Like I think about we have like Xenoblade music playing. This is from Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2, I was always gonna buy because I was a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles. I was a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I knew I was picking up Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But throughout 2017, I felt like the marketing of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was weak. I wasn't sold. The trailers I didn't think did a good job. I think there was even a direct, and none of that really sold me on the game. I bought the game because it was Xenoblade, and I loved it. I feel like Xenoblade has become successful because the people who have played it have really talked it up, and so eventually other people have played it. And so I kind of just wonder, this might be a recurring issue with some Nintendo games that they just don't sell it well. I think with Breath and Tears, they actually have done a good job because of the big trailers. So those were good. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza, they sold well. Mario Kart World, yes, and then a little no. Well, there's two things in Mario Kart World that I think were misses in terms of like advertising. One was the Mario Kart World Direct, that it felt unnecessary, right? Like there were things we learned, but it wasn't. It needed to be presented differently. Yeah. So there's that. The other thing about Mario Kart World is that it being $80 probably shouldn't be $80. Like it's not even I just don't think it should have been $80, especially if they're going to use it as a bundle game anyway. They should have just stuck with the solid 70. I don't think it's been worth the constant negativity, unless Nintendo's like playing 4D chess here and they priced Mario Kart World at $80 because they knew it would piss people off. And those pissed off people will be talking about the console in a negative way. But for some people who kind of study the analytics, they understand that even though it's negative, the conversation is still kind of fueling conversation overall, which then leads to more sales overall. Unless Nintendo's playing 4D chess in that way, I kind of feel like game probably shouldn't be priced at $80. So I feel like those are some misses there in terms of how they kind of presented the game. No, that's just a pricing choice. So, you know, the marketing team may have nothing to do with that. Anyway, it's just kind of interesting to sort of think about how Nintendo sort of advertises some of their games. I have an optimism that Nintendo is not going to completely let Metroid Prime 4, like, you know, not succeed. They're going to push this game very soon. And I got an interesting super chat here from Andrew Brightwell 914. Thank you for the super chat. Did I miss anything on Ocarina of Time Remake? Sorry, Andres, joining late. Actually, no. We haven't talked about Ocarina of Time Remake really at all tonight. I will say I made a video about Ocarina of Time Remake last week. There were patents that were found, right? And there are some patents that include... There were Nintendo patents, right? They were filing multiple patents, and a lot of them were just showing kind of new animation. Or that weren't new animations, but kind of like the same animations we've seen from Tears of the Kingdom. But they're filing them again, so there might be like some subtle differences. But there was another patent from Nintendo that showed kind of like a character moving around, and then they were showing like a glittery thing following this character around, locking on the targets, moving to a painting upon like a second floor. It looked kind of like Navi. So the thinking is that this may be a patent for an Ocarina of Time remake. And some people may think that's kind of crazy, but we've actually seen patents for other Zelda games, like for Tears of the Kingdom. We saw some patents a few years beforehand, and those patents were actually indicative of new animations and actions in Tears of the Kingdom. So us seeing Nintendo file patents that have to do with The Legend of Zelda, and one of them has to do all on the same day, right? And one of them has to do with this Navi-like character interacting with the screen and locking on the targets. That's from Ocarina of Time. So could be another little bit of evidence towards this project that we keep theorizing about, and is also rumored. But beyond that's what kind of came up this past week. But there's nothing really anything new beyond. I mean, I think that's a pretty big new thing, right? To be honest, maybe I'll do a whole other live stream about it later this week or something. But that's it. Let's see here. Connor, will I do a prediction video for the second Kirby Air Riders Direct? Probably not. It's I just don't think I don't think I have it's happening on Thursday. There's a few different things I want to talk about. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but I do not think it's Kirby. I will, however, probably do a Kirby Direct analysis on Thursday, and I will be live streaming the show. So there'll be that. Yeah. Xenoblade did a lot for gaming. I agree, Net. We did a lot for my gaming, at least. Netweed09. Once Prime is rolled out, we get Monosoft revealing that hidden game of theirs. Then the ball will really get rolling for Switch 2. Plus, of course, stuff like Dust Bloods is nearer now. Bro, like, we could get Luigi's Mansion 4 next year, the next Monolith Soft game, Dust Bloods. We have more reason to believe in the Ocarina of Time remake. I don't think 3D Mario is far off. Pokemon Gen 10 is seeming hype based off the leaks. Like, we got a lot coming. So I definitely think we're still just scratching the surface here. For sure. We're barely, if we can even say we're scratching the surface, because I honestly think like this year's lineup has been basically Switch 1 wrap up. Prime 4 Pokemon, Switch 1 games that were slightly enhanced. Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, those are Switch 2 games, but they start off as Switch 1 titles. Definitely not possible in Switch 1 as they are, but the fact they started off as Switch 1 titles is something. Hyrule Warriors, I mean, it's Hyrule Warriors. So, you know, and obviously Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are Wii games remastered a little bit. Like, we haven't really seen like a crazy Switch 2 game. Heck, even Dust Bloods, which is being made by From Software, right? Like, that also started off as a Switch 1 title. I also think that game's not possible on Switch 1 as it is. The point is, we haven't seen a game that started off as a Switch. We haven't seen an ambitious game that started off as a Switch 2 title. Maybe Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I still am meaning. I have been meaning to make a video on that, and I will make it when it comes out. I cannot promise that because there's just other things I got to focus on, and that's kind of one of those things where, like, I want to make a Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave video, but I'm probably. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not going to make. I may make more than one Fire Emblem video, but for that initial one, I want to kind of do it right. I think it's going to be I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it because there's kind of like the story elements of it, there's the gameplay elements of it, and there's a graphics part. I have to kind of figure out how exactly I'm going to position it. But there's going to be a Fire Emblem analysis video before the end of the year. I realize there'll be at least one, and if we get some significant news on the game, I will cover it. Anyway, to the point, I'm not sure about if even Fire Emblem is like started off as a Switch 2 title, right? And if it is, it's not like the most ambitious Switch 2 title. We've yet to see like a really ambitious, ground up, started off as a Switch 2 title game from Nintendo yet. And so next year, I think we're really going to start to see more stuff like that, and that's going to be exciting. Yeah. Anyways, everyone, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. And there'll be a video tomorrow, as there usually is. But if you missed today's Metroid video, check it out. I appreciate that. Anyway, I hope you all have a good night. I'll see you soon. Take care. As soon as I find a way to end the stream. There we go. Now it's happening. Good night.